All right. Welcome back to Charitable Gifts of Real Estate to Nonprofits. Let me find my Zoom. I'll introduce myself. My name is Sam Silver. I'm with eXp Realty. I am a Real Agents of Change champion, and I'm excited to have you into our meeting today. Let me just find my link, and we will be on our way. Give me a second. There we go. Let's see. We're on 6 o'clock. Let's go to events. And give me 1 second. And we should be going in a minute. Where are we? Strategy. Oh, okay, here we go. We are registered for the Zoom. So we're just going into the room. I reserved a spot already. I'm just backtracking here. Making sure I have access. Yeah. Accept. All right, view tickets. Sometimes online presentation takes a second to get loaded, but we are opening in Zoom. And we will share the Zoom with you as soon as it opens up. And here comes the Zoom. Join the meeting. All right.
You need to stop, and you need to remember who you're talking to behind doing this. And he's like, well, and I said, come on, you need to stop. You need to quit. I appreciate everything that you guys are doing, but when it comes to her from a business standpoint, she hasn't done anything for me, so therefore, why did I take her?
She came out with a picture you haven't seen it.
No.
Using it.
No, and I said, so, I'm not saying that I want to screw anybody over. I'm saying that I would.
Hey Sam, how are you?
Good. How yourself, Bo?
I said, you're a business person. If somebody does business with you that way, and they don't participate.
Can you hear me?
You talk to me about your pictures, what you
Hey, Bo.
What would you do? And he goes, oh, yeah.
Bo, let me look at my video settings real quick here.
Then obviously you are high as fuck and forgot who you're talking to, because I ain't doing this. So I'm spreading big arguments.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, because I was like, no, we're done. Don't talk to me like that.
So you got it all straight.
No, sort of. And I think he's like, well, she's been up there twice. Oh, wait a
Can you hear
minute.
me?
She came up the one time.
Hey there, can you hear me?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got ya.
Okay.
So we're early, I guess, huh?
I guess so. Give me 1 second.
I thought you started at 3 o'clock.
Me too. I'll be right back, Bo.
Okay.
Sorry. Obviously, there's something really good news that's going to make my but it's part of that. And so there's a bit of a photo. Yeah, but they'll take bottles of liquor and then I'm like, yeah, I think you need to give me like $1,500 worth of liquor. And I said, well, I'm glad that's what you think. I said, just check this out. That ain't gonna be what happens. He goes, yeah, you guys have gotten a lot tighter on giving away free shit. I said, absolutely, that's what I'm doing my job.
All right. Let's see. I'm back, but give me a second. Trying to turn on my camera.
No problem.
Yeah, we can do a good card, but we'll put it to share. And we have a lot of like research and then we can put in some costs out of it.
Video.
Yeah, because we're gonna do it $200 and then sure.
All right. See Vanessa there.
I can do it in the afternoon.
Hey, Vanessa.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, gorgeous.
I'll be calling you this week.
You'll be what?
I'll be giving you a call this week.
Okay, good. Yeah,
All right.
let's get you lined up with some
Let's see who we got here. Rachel is a guest of Rita's. Martha came from Jim. Gloria's phone. Who's that?
You ready? You want to see if we can get those on now? Just turn them on. Is there a special way to do it? Just hit the power button?
Bo, even with your camera off and even with all this noise going on, I can still hear your chair squeaking.
Yes.
Sam Silver Solutions, you hot shit, you. If you got paid for every domain name you bought, you'd be a millionaire by now. I know. Every day I get another email from GoDaddy that says, congratulations, you've renewed one of your domains. And I'm like, great. Oh. Yeah. Well, it's just going to show the whole screen.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you for inviting me. I have class in about 20 minutes and I'm driving up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for inviting me. I've got to.
What's your last name, Gloria?
What's that?
What's your last name?
Pierce, like Pierce the ear.
Cool.
I don't know about all that.
Hi, Gloria. My name is Taylor. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I'm a member of Silveris, and welcome to the call.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Safe
you.
travels. Absolutely.
Thank you. Well,
Well.
we're in with good people. This is who you want to rub shoulders with.
Absolutely.
Definitely, correct?
Yes, I
Absolutely.
completely agree.
Yeah.
And she said she's driving.
All
in
right,
the
guys, we
mountains.
got about 5 more minutes, so talk amongst yourselves.
Coach Trey. There he is.
Doing fine, thank you. How you doing today? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love you. I love your words there. You have 2 hands, one to help yourself and the second to help others. I love that.
Yes. I'm a former Philadelphia firefighter, and also happy belated Veterans Day, Sam. Yeah, I'm Air Force firefighter, but I've also a youth football and basketball coach. I'm actually retired. Lost 5 football players to gun violence over the last 4 years.
Oh my God. Wow.
So I'm using proper education and cooperative economics to help stop this trend that
That's terrible.
That happened in the 90s too. And that's what
Wow.
I'm trying to tell the everybody. Can't jump on and blame these children and their parents, especially if you're over 40.
Yeah.
You know. So, and
This is exactly why. It seems so simple. I know. She got it all. It's so easy.
Not earlier this year. It's this year.
Kind of interesting because you can hear the people on Zoom talking there.
Yeah.
Oh, here's
yeah.
somebody else I believe is, what's her name? Coach Trey? Is that Coach TRE, Trey?
Yes.
Coach Trey, who are you a guest of?
Sam.
Sam. Got it. You look like a.
I like Coach Trey saying there by his name.
It's like you. All right.
There's Jimmy.
Don't let me forget.
Let's see. Hello, everybody. Let's see, well, I'm gonna try to get the video on. Hi, Brett. Hi, Bo.
Hey, how you doing, James?
Good. Hi, Alan. Hi, Cammie. I'm Martha.
Hello.
Hello.
Starting in about 2 minutes, guys. Just talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going to turn this down on this side.
It's Christopher.
Hi, Sam. We're Sebastian. Okay.
Where are you from, Christopher?
I'm in Los Angeles, California. I'm actually Sam's neighbor.
Oh, okay.
We're out walking Stubby today. He's he had to stay home. He had a couple of seizures, so we're trying to get some exercises in.
Awesome.
He says hi, everybody.
Hello there.
There's our girl, Barbara.
Hi, guys. Mr. Jim, we're going to have to keep an eye on Dan, see how he's doing.
Recording in progress.
Ready? You want to introduce me or are you tell everybody why we're here? You go ahead. Tell everybody why we're here.
Can I say behind this?
Yes, you can.
All right. Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for coming out on a Monday night. And we're just here to learn. We are going to be talking about charitable real estate. I'm still learning what that is, but we have two people in the room that are experts at what they do. So they're going to be presenting information to you. And I say just take this opportunity to just listen. If you have or know of nonprofit organizations, 501c3s, ministries, churches, those are the individuals that we want to try to marry together so that it can be profitable for all parties. Us as realtors, we get the listings, the referrals, because all the transactions are not done here in the state of Florida. You can be, donors can be everywhere. Is that right? And so we also got the Zoom on for those individuals who couldn't be here personally. It's going to be, via Zoom as well. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but we will go on because once upon a time, we really didn't have all of this, right? So we got to carry on. So without further ado, I want to introduce Tammy Baker and Alan Biles. They'll be the one who will be presenting tonight. And so we're just here to learn and observe. Thank you again. Thanks, Rita.
I feel compelled to have just a little sit down, easy conversation with y'all today. And that way these folks can hear us through the screen as well. And you can see what we're doing here. So charitable gifting of real estate. What the heck is that? Why have we never heard of this thing before? It's been around for 100 years. $9 billion a year is donated to nonprofits. How have we never heard of that before? These were questions that I asked myself when I learned about this 3 years ago. And it's the same question we get on a daily basis. Well, if that much is happening, how have I never heard of it? So you guys are going to learn about that tonight, how the nonprofit world and the for-profit world can come together, make money, make a difference, fund our churches, save our veterans, stop human trafficking, whatever you're passionate about. You don't have to pick just one. You can help them all, okay? So at the very beginning, we have a little warning. And the warning is really serious one, because I promise you, you're getting ready to hear something that you've never heard before. I had never heard of it either. 3 years ago, I was at a conference and I was a real estate agent for 15 years in New Hampshire. I had done fundraising for Ronald McDonald House, Make-A-Wish Foundation, local small nonprofits, big ones. And I had never heard of this before either. But when I learned about it, it became a blessing. And this is either a blessing or a curse. Because when you know you can help churches, when you know every time you sit in a fundraising meeting, you know there's a better way and you don't say anything, that's hard to live with. But when we do something with it, it is a blessing. So even at the beginning of the book, on the very first page of the book, it talks about the warning. If you're not ready to do something, you probably shouldn't learn about it. I learned this from AA because I'm in recovery. And in AA, we say a head full of AA and a belly full of booze doesn't mix, because you know better now, right? So what would your nonprofit do with $550,000? And I want to have a little bit of community participation. Friends, I want to hear from you too in the chat. I want to hear, what would we do with $550,000 for our nonprofit world? As a matter of fact, you're on Zoom if you can call it. So Alan is on Zoom with you guys, and he's going to read to me any of your comments or questions. Nonprofit, give me one you love. You in the back, you got that big smile on your face. Who you want to help?
Churches for children, and we also want to do wells.
Yeah, water. People are dying every day because they don't have clean water. Crazy in today's world. What about you, Rita? What would your nonprofit do with $550,000?
We would definitely get our own place. This place has been a blessing. This is where we have service here, but having our own place allowed would give us the ability to help after school programs like Avenue 941, where they're tutoring with the children to help them get back on grade level, because so many kids are failing. And just a lot of things that we will be able to do for the community, nothing like having our own. So I would say definitely building a starter.
You know, so many churches, we have a woman out in California, Claudia, I did a presentation like this via Zoom for their church about a month ago on Sunday. And they have a sanctuary, but they need something bigger because every time they go to church, the kids are going to a different room, or if that room is being used by a different business, they got to go over there. And it's just, and the reason we ask about that $550,000 question is, dun, 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 technology is not working today. $550,000 is because that's the average amount of a donation from one piece of real estate. And we have all been doing our best. How many people here have had a bake sale or a barbecue or a car wash or a golf tournament or a golf tournament or a golf tournament, and you're at a golf tournament and they want you to sign up for the next golf tournament, and the next thing you know, there's another nonprofit that is just as worthy, and then the same nonprofits start over again with the next quarter's fundraisers, right? What we're saying is keep doing those because they're fun and they're social. Go eat a cookie, go play some golf. But what if that nonprofit was doing the fundraiser because it was fun, not because they so desperately needed it, right? So 550,000, we wrote this book. This is actually a book that I came out, I think it was in May, soon to be. Now it's in Barnes & Noble and Books A Million. Charitable gifting of real estate. Real estate is hot, fundraising is not. And there are 5 keys to revolutionize how you can help fund nonprofits through gifts of real estate. Now, Dr. Russell James actually wrote the foreword for this book. He is the foremost authority in this field of philanthropy, teaching financial advisors about major gifts of assets. And he talks about how numbers aren't the problem. People will nod their heads. Oh, yeah, those numbers are great. Oh, that makes sense. Only 3% in cash. As a nation, 43% is in real estate. Less than 3%, every person we all know, less than 3% is available in cash of what they make. 43% of our wealth is held in real estate. And as he talks about in the foreword to the book, numbers aren't the problem. Problem is, what do you do with it? What do you do with this information? So that's what we're going to share with you today. Now, what this is saying is there are 1.5 million nonprofits in this country, 160,000 nonprofits in Florida, 10,000 nonprofits in Tampa alone, Orlando, 11,000 nonprofits, right here in Minnesota County, almost 8,000 nonprofits. What? Now, here's why you've never heard of this. Because of the 1.5 million nonprofits, less than half of a 0.5% will take real estate. So any one of those nonprofits, 99.9% of the time, if you had $500 cash or the deed to a property worth $500,000, 99% of the time, the nonprofit will take the cash and say no to the real estate. Good question. Well, we're going to get into a little bit more on the slides, but the fact is it's complicated. It's risky. It is scary. And even if all of us, even if every one of us, including the author of the book, sits on their board, there are mortgages to be paid off. There are roofs to be put on. There's holding costs. Oh my God, what if it needs hurricane insurance? Nonprofits are risk adverse. They do not want real estate. They don't want to manage it. They don't want the headache. They don't want something called mission drift. We've actually got a friend on our screen tonight. Jim Wooten actually wrote, my book came out in 2022. His book came out in 2006 about real estate gifts. And he talks about that, how it's called mission drift. Nonprofits don't want to drift off their mission. You know, if you're here to bring the Lord to people, the last thing you need to do is be dealing with real estate for the next 6 months. So it's very complicated and they just won't do it. Now, here's the bulk of what you came here to learn. There are 3 basic ways that a property owner can help a nonprofit through gifts of real estate. And the first way that I'm going to share with you right now is the worst way. This is the way that most people say to us, well, Cammie, why doesn't the donor just go sell their real estate and give the proceeds to Rita and Reggie? Because in that scenario, Uncle Sam's going to get a big cut. No matter what the circumstance, Uncle Sam is getting some piece of that. So the nonprofit gets the least amount. The donor gets the least amount of tax advantage. And ultimately, it's the lazy way. It's the old-fashioned way. It's what people used to do before they knew any better. And I love how Ellen talks about how we are always changing. Technology keeps getting better. New cars come out every day, new apps come out every day, and guess what? New ways of facilitating gifts of real estate have come out, right? So this first way is the worst way. Please don't do that. If you hear somebody say, oh, I'm going to go sell this house and give the proceeds to the church, stay where you're at. Hold on, let's talk about this for a minute. Now, because that's the worst way, let's talk about the second way, which is the hardest way. The hardest way, let's just say, for example, Rita's church here in Florida. Maybe she has a donor with a piece of property. I'm going to have a ranch in Texas. It happens. Ranches in Texas. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a whole list of links that you can go and do your own due diligence when we get done. One of those links has 14 examples: raw land, commercial, residential, who donated it, why they donated it, how much the nonprofit world got. Let's say they have a ranch in Texas and it's got $1 million appraisal on it. And it's got $200,000 mortgage. And the ranch owner says, I love Rita. I want to help her. I want her to get $550,000 out of this property, but you got to pay off my $200,000 mortgage, and I want $200,000 in my pocket. So somebody's got to come up with $400,000 in order for Rita to have the equity from that property. So the second way is if Rita were to take that property herself. And the problem is her nonprofit has to come up with that mortgage money. Now, we're all in real estate. We all can understand this. If a piece of property is being donated to a nonprofit, it's got to exchange hands in order for that donor to get the tax deduction. And how does real estate exchange hands? Mortgages are paid off. You can't exchange a property and leave the lien on it. It's got to be paid off. Rita doesn't have $400,000. I don't have $400,000. So it's a hard way to do it because nonprofits are just afraid of the risk. They don't have the money or the time. They don't want to spend all that. A ranch in Texas, what's she going to do with that, right? So that's the second way. It's the hardest way. Now, let's talk about those reasons that 99.9% of nonprofits don't take real estate. So the first point is that they don't have the expertise. They just don't have a team. Now, there's a handful that do have a team, and I'm going to tell you exactly who they are in a minute, like Cars for Kids. They take real estate now too. But here's why 99.9% are not getting funded. There's no capital. They don't have the capital to enhance the property. What if it needs a roof? What if that ranch, as a matter of fact, we have a deal going on right now out in California. It's a vineyard, and the guy owns 50%, and he's donating 30% of that. And they're in the middle of harvest and making the wine. So complicated. No one wants to deal with that stuff. So real estate diverts their attention. We don't want her being diverted. We want her helping the right people. Some nonprofits have heard bad experiences. They've heard, yeah, I heard that the Boy Scouts took a piece of property 10 years ago and it almost bankrupted them. I'm not doing that. No way. And some of these are real life experiences, but the bottom line is they're afraid to do it. Now, some will accept real estate. So if you talk to, say, the community foundation, they might say, oh yeah, we take real estate. But if you ask them another question, like, awesome, good for you. How many pieces have you taken in the last 3 years? They'll tell you none. And if you ask them, what's the qualification? We're going to follow up with you and get you some more info. They'll say, well, it has to be mortgage free. And it has to be local, and it has to fit in this tiny little box. Like, in other words, it's got to be just exactly what they're looking for. So even the ones that can take real estate won't take real estate from anywhere in the world. And most of them have it written right in their bylaws. that they don't take real estate. It's right there. We do not take non-cash assets, especially not real estate. No, thank you. So overall, it's just too risky, but here's the real reason that nonprofits are not accepting real estate, or better yet, benefiting from the money from real estate, is because they don't know about this third way. So that's what we're here to explain to you guys tonight. Is this making sense? Kind of following along? Okay, we don't want people to try to do it on their own. We don't want all the nonprofits getting befuddled in the minutia and getting their hands dirty with the real estate. So what can we do for them? So the third way is what we do. So we're the real agents of change, and we have a partnership with the 501c3, whose only reason for existing is to handle real estate on behalf of any nonprofit in the country. They take title. They pay off those mortgages. They hire a real estate agent at a full commission to sell the property. That's where you guys come in. We need realtors all over this country to list these properties. So because of this relationship with this entity that's been doing this for 20 years, it is risk-free. There is no money out of pocket. So let's talk about that ranch in Texas. $200,000 mortgage, donor wants $200,000 cash. That's only $400,000. It's $1 million ranch. When that ranch gets donated, all that money's got to come out of somebody's pocket. It's not coming out of Rita and Reggie's pocket. The third party specialized nonprofit takes care of all that. So there's capital available if it needs to be fixed up. Bargain sale. So let's talk about that for a second. If somebody donates a piece of real estate and it's free and clear, here's the deed, here's the keys, it's worth $1 million, you can have it. It's called a donation. If there's any money that exchanges hands, it's called a bargain sale. And we get into that. As a matter of fact, tomorrow at 11 a.m. is the Charitable Real Estate Masterclass that we do on the first and the third Tuesday of the month. You're all invited to sit in. It's free. Why not learn a little bit more about it? So the donor in this situation receives the maximum tax benefits. The nonprofit receives the maximum amount of donation, and all 1.5 million nonprofits qualify. So every church, every veteran group, every animal rescue, every 1.5 million nonprofits, starting right here with Rita and Reggie's, qualifies for this. Now, here's what it looks like. Got that ranch in Texas. Ranch owner wants to donate it. They donate it to the specialized nonprofit who take title and responsibility. They don't even need to know the address. Rita doesn't even need to know what town that ranch is in. And then when they sell it, this slide says they get 90 to 98%. Rita and Reggie get 90 to 98%. But that has actually been enhanced. The third party that takes title to that ranch out in Texas, they don't even keep that much anymore. They keep 2% or less of the proceeds. They want the nonprofit world to get funded. Now, once again, this third party takes title and financial responsibility, creating no risk for Rita or any other nonprofit. There's no money out of their pocket, and there is no need to change these gift acceptance policies because the nonprofits aren't taking the real estate. They're only getting the money at the end of the deal. So $9 billion a year is being donated. $550,000 is the average donation, which is about 18,000 donations a year. So it's happening all around us. But the reason that we don't hear about it is because if 99% of nonprofits won't take real estate, there's been no reason to teach it to realtors. But when I learned about this 3 years ago, I thought, I've never heard of this. And I did a lot of door knocking. I was calling the expireds, calling the for sale by owners. I'm a guerrilla marketer from way back. And if I had never heard of it, I thought, And the fact is, the reason we haven't heard of it and the reason it hasn't been taught is because no matter how great it is, if you go to a nonprofit and say, hey, I got this client, they want to donate real estate. And the nonprofit says, sorry about your bad luck, I'm not interested in taking real estate. Then you're back to square one. So what we've provided is a simple way for all of them to benefit. Now, I've mentioned that 99.9% don't take real estate. So who are the ones that do? So as I bring up these logos, the Nature Conservancy, Cars for Kids, Free Wheelchair Mission, Happy Feet, San Diego Foundation, as I'm bringing all these up, the reason that we show these to people is because if you do your due diligence, and you should, and you go Google charitable gifting of real estate, how to donate real estate, who takes real estate, you'll see all these organizations showing you that it's happening all over the country. And here's why the Real Agents of Change were created. Because your donors are on other donor lists too. Statistically, if somebody's given to a church or a veterans group or to a community foundation, they're given to more than one nonprofit. And those who are looking for a tax deduction right now are Googling, how do I get a tax deduction? Who could take real estate? I don't know about real estate. They're finding all of these. And if all the donor wants is a tax deduction, they can give it to Cars for Kids. But here's the problem. Rita doesn't get a church. Your favorite veteran group doesn't get any money. In other words, they're going to these nonprofits because they've already stepped into asking for real estate. And what we're doing is we're educating nonprofits all over the country, specifically in Florida, because by the way, we now have a 3-hour CE credit for realtors. Get your 3 hours to come learn how this works. We're doing that on Thursday too. I'll tell you guys about that later. So donors need to know that the nonprofits can benefit. They're on other nonprofit donor lists, so we need to let them know they're looking for tax deductions. They're eager to leave legacy, and especially right now, this time of year, they're planning. They're planning. What is their tax benefit? And friends, I know for us in real estate, we're thinking, well, gosh, if I listed a property right this red hot minute, it may or may not close by the end of the year. But the way that this works with us, that person can donate it even December 15th. They will get their tax deduction this year. You list it January 1st, you're not going to get paid till next year, and the nonprofit's not going to get the money till then. They get their tax benefit. So this gives you a way to line up some listings with people who want a tax benefit. So donations of real estate come in for your church. We do the rest. It's really that simple. All right, here's a case study that explains exactly how this works. We're going to bring it all to a little close. Case study is Berkeley Humane Society. So December 10th last year, gentleman calls the team. He says, I've got 13 lots and I need a tax deduction. It's December 10th. I need it this year. Can you do it? Now, if they had called a nonprofit that needed to have board meetings, etc., he wouldn't have got his tax deduction. But we have someone who that's all they do. This third party, will tell you all about him in a little bit. And they said yes. So the guy donates his real estate, and they knew that the appraised value was going to get them about $400,000 to this one nonprofit. So they call Berkeley and they say, listen, this guy just donated real estate. You're going to be getting about $400,000 in the next 60 to 90 days when it closes. We know that nonprofits aren't used to that kind of money coming in. We like to call people and let them know to start planning. And Berkeley Humane Society, guys, this is all you do. Berkeley said, we're getting $400,000 from some guy's piece of real estate. We didn't even know that was possible. Can we get more of that? Yes, you can. So Berkeley picked up the phone and they called a handful of donors. They sent it out in an email. They said, we don't know how this works, but we can benefit from real estate. So here's what happened. That first guy's land got them $406,000. A second woman raised her hand. She said, you know what, my mother left me a house in a 55 and older community in Carmel, California. She said, I'm never going to live there. I don't want that house. It smells like mom. I don't want it. You can sell it. And so they did. And so they got $646,000 for that second property. And the moral of the story is one nonprofit, 2 donations over a 6-month period was $1,052,000. This isn't pie in the sky. It's not pro forma. It's not, gosh, I wonder if it will work. It happens every day. And so we came here yesterday to do some worship with the fellowship here. And I personally am passionate about helping them get their church. This is a lovely facility. It's clean, it's nice, but they need a home. And I want to help them. And this is how we can do it. We just have to tell people. So the real estate can come from anywhere. It doesn't have to be here. It doesn't have to be Texas or California. It can be anywhere in the country, some cases anywhere in the world of any size. It can be residential, commercial, raw land. It can be a $50 million skyscraper. Good. That's even better, church. It can be any type, anything but a timeshare. It's the only thing it can't be is a timeshare. And it creates funds right now because there are people right this red hot minute that need a tax deduction. There are other people that maybe they're like, well, next year when we buy our big RV and start traveling, maybe we will donate. And it might be 3 or 5 or 10 years out. But what we're doing is we're planting the seeds. This is a 1917 U.S. tax code. It's been around for 100 years. We didn't invent it. We stumbled upon it and said, holy moly, people deserve to know. So this is an example of a piece of land that was donated. Actually, this was a golf course that was donated in August, $15 million golf course. This is a $1.7 million house that was donated in Rhode Island to the Martin Luther King Center. This is a house that was just donated in May, $7.5 million. And these are so important to put that seed, to plant that image in our head. Friends, this isn't, there's a gas station out Route 66 that's got tumbleweeds and people are trying to get rid of it. Well, that happens too, but this is what we're talking about. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife just donated 2 houses totaling $55 million. One woman, big divorce settlement, and she was generous. That's who does it. People say, who would donate real estate? If you don't know anybody, maybe that's a good reason to do it, because those are good people to have. Those are good, heart-centered people to know. And this couple donated $129 million just back in October last year. These are the kinds of people that donate real estate. Now, these are some images of nonprofits that you might recognize. Habitat for Humanity, National Geographic, Girl Scouts, ALS. These are nonprofits that we know, and they have all benefited this way. They've all leveraged the team that we leverage because they don't want to deal with real estate either. Now, Fidelity Charitables is the largest nonprofit in this country. The biggest, 1.5 million in a big pile, and they're right on top, big cherry. They don't even do their own real estate. Even they use the same team. Churches, universities, public radio, public TV. As a matter of fact, Rita, there is a huge campaign going on right now. There is a group that has partnered with all the radio and TV stations in this country. There's about 3,500 of them nationwide that are starting to do campaigns that they accept gifts of real estate. So
And
it's
this one, we're the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
So because there's so few, that's out here. That because if someone has a donation to real estate, there ain't a lot of choices right now. So just for us having our doors open for real estate here, automatically gives you a much better chance, especially now, because of the few amount of nonprofits are actually taking it at this point. But 2-3 years from now, when thousands and thousands more are accepting real estate, well, they're going to be in that second, third wave of it.
It's kind of like the short sales we were talking about earlier. Back in the early 2000s, people didn't know what a short sale was. When I Googled short sale as a new realtor, only thing that came up was Victoria's Secrets was having a sale on shorts. I'm not even kidding. If I had known then what I knew 6 months later, I would have bought up how to do a shortsale.com, Short Sales Florida. Guess who has how to donate realestate.com, charitable gifting of real estate. So what's next? Let's bring this to a close. What is next? Well, here's what's next. First and foremost, don't waste time. As Alan was just talking about, it's been around for 100 years, but the word's getting out. People are starting to learn about this. Do your research. We want you to do your research. We want you to go Google and check some stuff out. But if you want to learn how to do it this way, how we do it, this is where you kind of learn, right? So we have we're going to share all of these links with you. therock.com/documents has a lot of documents that explain to you how this works. This is mine and Alan's cell phone number and email address. Just take the funding. Now, this slide, and this is mostly geared towards nonprofits. And what we want to say to the nonprofits is just take the funding. People want to donate real estate. We have zero interest in convincing, selling, persuading, forcing, strong-arming grandma to donate her real estate. You know you want to donate, right, Grandma? No, we want to give her options. We want to tell her what her options are. Shame on, see, I told you there's a warning. You've just learned there's a better way. And if we go out in the world and we see the GoFundMe account on Facebook, and people are trying to raise money to save the animals and build churches, and we don't do anything about it, now you can see why it's kind of a curse if you know about it and you don't do anything with it. Number 5, do what you were created to do. Don't try to figure out real estate, not like this. Now, you guys are real estate agents. We need you to list the property. We call these legacy listings. It's the same kind of listing you've ever taken. It's kind of like a REO or a relocation from the perspective that now this third-party nonprofit is your client. But the good thing about that is it's not Bill and Mary and their 4 kids, yes, trying to tell you how to do your job. It's a group who has already agreed and guaranteed you a full commission. You don't have to negotiate that. Full commission, unemotional, savvy, sophisticated, sign the contract, go do what you got to do and sell this property. So these are some links. I'm just going to put them all up on the screen and let people on Zoom take a screenshot or do whatever you need to do with them. The master class, first and third Tuesday of the month, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's free. Learn how this works. This is the secret real estate niche. It's already funding nonprofits by $9 billion a year. And experts say, of which we are one, it will go from $9 billion to $29 billion very soon. Well, this is tomorrow actually, but it's the first and the third Tuesday. Tomorrow's the third Tuesday of November, and we'll make sure that you get the link. This link here, these are all therock.com, RAOC. So The Rock, we spell Real Agents of Change, therock.com /FAQS has 14 of the most commonly asked questions with a video. I'm on the video with our specialized nonprofit. They're called realtygiftfund.org. We highly recommend that you check them out. They do this for Fidelity Charitables. They do this for churches. They do this for Boys and Girls Club, Girl Scouts, Habitat for Humanity. They do it all over the country. Donations. Just added 4 new stories on there. There are 14 case studies that explain how this works. There is the property evaluation, which is what the donor fills out when they come to the table. Chapter 1 is where you get the first chapter of my book for free, but I'm going to tell you where you can get the whole book for free. And then our Facebook group is a link there. Let's see, do we have, no, we don't. Okay, so I want to be able to answer any questions that you have about this. What's really next for those of us who are real estate professionals is to become a charitable real estate champion, because there are 2 million realtors in this country. And our goal is to certify 1%, just 1 out of every 100, to bring it back to their communities all over the country. And we are focused in Florida. This coming Thursday, we've got the CE class from 9 until 12. If you want to get 3 hours credit, you can take that. The master class is also 3 hours. It's 2 different classes. Master class we've been doing for 2.5 years for anyone and everyone all over the country, nonprofits, realtors, financial advisors, everybody. When you get CE classes, you got to do it one state at a time, and it's painful. So we just got Florida. It's a little bit different presentation. You got to take that to get your 3-hour credit. But anyway, we have all that information. We're happy to share it. So
And the CE class is called.
charitable gifting of real estate.
Is that how you use it?
Great question. No, two different things. We've been doing the certification for 2.5 years. So when you do the master class, that's where you get certified. And by the way, it's been being $400 for the first year to get certified. We call it, you get certified, you get the licensing to use all the logos, etc. You get put on the map, which is not in this presentation. This is kind of more for nonprofit. We didn't realize it'd be all realtors. And now you can do it right now for $97. So if any of you want to do it for $97, let me know and I'll get you the link. Rita can share it with you. So it's two different things. Thank you for asking. Are there any questions on Zoom?
I handled the one that were.
Okay. All right.
But, you know, I would like to say, like, so I'm not a real estate agent, so once I realized everyone here is realtors, I thought, well, let the realtor deal with the realtors. But one thing I see as been involved in a lot of different marketing and branding for different companies is what happens after you become a certified charitable real estate specialist. Whether you either just the conversations that you're going to be having with people, it opens doors to people that have, you know, greater wealth. They're going to have, you know, higher dollar value type client. Second thing is what your marketing of yourself looks like going forward. You have one average gift of real estate now is close to $1 million. And that's just the equity of the gift. The listings are going to be $1 million listings. When you list one and there's a sign out in front of that house, and you're the agent that's going to be listing it, and the sign says that 100% of the proceeds of the sale of this home is going to, you know, Divine Destiny, or whatever, you know, whatever your church can be, whatever it is, you then have a marketing tool and image that you present to your community as someone who's bringing real change to the community, someone who's bringing millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars inevitably to the community. So, and I got a feeling that it's going to become even more competitive in real estate now with the way the market's changing. So this is just a really good way to shine in a very competitive industry like real estate.
Questions, comments, concerns, hallucinations?
This may be an odd question.
Love it. Stump me. Give me something I've never heard.
Okay, because of COVID, a lot of churches shut down and closed. When I went to open back up, they did have a church of 400 people, now they have a church of 4 people. And they closed the church, the pastor went for a job at Lowe's or something. And the building has been maybe sitting there, maybe they own the building, they're still sitting there, they can't even pay the utilities. It's just sitting there. I know church buildings right here in this town, in that scenario, where denominations have them, and they literally don't know what to do with them. They go with an attorney, they'll take a call, right? Yeah, here's how much we want for it. In the meantime, you're saying our right to the ground. And there's more than one of these, right? So that's one of them is a denomination. Some of them I don't know who actually has a mortgage they don't. The question becomes when you have, well, obviously it's term distressed property, a distressed situation. What is an approach that you see to deal with those people? Because they're already a not-for-profit. So how do you deal with the not-for-profit that's in a distressed situation to help them get out of that and maybe remarket that property and get sold?
We actually have, and I'm not going to get into details right now because it's relatively new. We actually have a way to help people that are in distressed properties, even the people that we know that are behind on mortgage. We have a partnership with another nonprofit who can help people like that. But to answer your question, the best way to help those people is to get them some funding, with or without that particular property. So if that church wants to continue being a church and they want to rebuild, maybe they want to pay off all that behind mortgage, maybe they want to get a bigger, the best way to help them is to help them get funding from any other real estate right? So that's specific. Like sometimes people will say to me, what about probate? What about probate attorneys? Well, sure, sometimes people leave, have mom's house left to them. But usually if it's in probate and brother and sister and everybody's fighting over their share of the piece of the pie, that's not really good for a donation of real estate. So I hear what you're saying, and people ask that type of question, but I would go to that church and I would talk to that minister and I would say, Minister, would you like to get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in for this church, regardless of that building? The church is the people, and those people can get funded from real estate anywhere in this country.
Actually, people, that was the point. A lot of these churches, some of them have clubs, but they don't exist anymore. It's just the buildings.
Well,
And the building's owned by someone or the church.
Yeah, the church owns it. The church members have a name on it, or it could have a mortgage come back to the bank. I know right now that it's paid for. The denomination has it. They want over $1 million for it, and nobody wants to go pay them $1 million because they have $500,000 to renovate and get it fixed up. Right. And they're literally studying on it.
Well, this isn't a solution for everyone. My questions would be, well, what do they want to do with the real estate? Like, what are their, so just like when people go to the property evaluation form that we have, the first question that the property owner is asked is, what are your intentions? Because 80% of the real estate that is donated, 80% of it is donated because the person loves the church, or they're a veteran and they want to help their brothers and sisters that are veterans, or they have a house full of cats and they want to help the animals. Do you know what I mean? Like, they do it because it's the right thing to do. Now, 20% of them do it for a tax benefit. So the question you asked reminds me of a hotel down in Miami that we've been looking at that has been sitting vacant for years. A hospital vacant. Can you imagine the overhead on that? But the fact is, the guy gets a better tax deduction by having it fall apart than he would get by donating it or selling it. Look, I don't know what everybody's situation is. Like, everybody's got their own reason for why they don't sell it or why they hang on to it. All we're saying is we just want people to know, if you have real estate that you are not using anymore and you want to help a nonprofit, or you're a real estate agent and you want to get paid a full commission to list those properties, or you're a nonprofit who have all these people who care about you and they say, just tell us what we can do. What can we do for you? Click the share button. Teach people, tell them, educate them. That's why we're here. Yeah. Okay, I see a question. Coach Trey, if you want to unmute yourself, please.
Yes. I love the presentation. My question is, actually, I got a couple, but I'll go with the main one. I have a faith-based organization. It's a 508c1a. How does that square up with the nonprofits that are mainly, you only hear about churches as being 501c3s?
So interesting question, which I get into in the CE course for real estate agents in Florida. I've learned the difference between the 503, the 508, the 506, the different ones. Ultimately, here's all that you need to know. An organization needs to be a 501c3 to give a tax deduction. The only caveat is churches, right? So churches can be a 508 and they give a tax deduction too. Now, the entity that we have partnered with, realtygiftfund.org, and there's a couple of others, it depends on the situation, but they're our main go-to. They are a 501c3. They are the ones that take title to the property, which is what gives the donor the tax deduction they're looking for. And then they are the ones that donate, that grant. They actually give a grant. Approximately 98% of the proceeds is granted to the nonprofit or multiple nonprofits that the donor wants it to go to. So they can donate it directly to your 508. So the question always is, does it have to be a 501c3 or a 508 to receive the proceeds? And the answer is yes. Ultimately, they have to grant it to a 501c3, with the only caveat being the church of a 508.
Okay. All right. Sound good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The next question is, my plate is full and I am not a real estate agent, but in my circles, I know real estate agents and I know nonprofits. So where do I fit as that missing piece to connect everybody?
Thank you for setting this up for me, because you have Sam Silver, and Sam Silver is on fire. If he invited you, it's because he's ready to go to work. So we don't want the nonprofit doing all the work. We don't want you learning about real estate. We don't want you becoming a financial advisor and explaining tax benefits. All you have to do, Coach Trey, is this. Friends, I don't know how this works, but nonprofits just like ours are being funded all over the country, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, in some cases, millions of dollars. It comes from real estate, and I don't know how it works, but I got a team that does. So if you have any real estate and you want a tax deduction and you want to help us get a new church, that's all you got to do. I'll put you in touch with the team. That's how Berkeley Humane Society had $1,052,000 come in 6 months, because they just told people. Just tell them, man. Just tell them.
Okay. Now,
and we'll help you with that. We'll help create some marketing pieces, right? We can do a meeting like this for you. You can invite all your nonprofit friends. Friends, this is how it works. You know, let's get 12, 15 people on Zoom. Let's get 12, 15 people in a room. And this is how we spread the word, right?
So now my last question for now is that as a former firefighter and a veteran, one of the things that I did was emergency medical, meaning that 70% of my time was going into burning buildings, which I love to do. The other 30% was helping the community, whether or not it was gun victims of violence, whatever. My passion with my ministry, which is proper education and cooperative economics, which is the acronym is PEACE, is to really, I was looking at getting real estate to help the youth homelessness, similar to the Covenant House. And also, I've learned that at least 65% of the homeless are veterans. So inside of, or under this umbrella, with my 508c1a, would it be stretching it if I was to look for donations to purchase property to house the homeless or help the veterans? Or is that stepping outside?
All great questions, and I'm happy to have more of a strategy call with you offline. But here's what I can tell you: when nonprofits are wanting to provide housing, sometimes they get very myopic in that, oh, well, we're looking for people to donate real estate that we can use right here. And we have to help them open their mind to know you can have real estate donated from anywhere in the country. And when it sells, we're going to give you on average $550,000 so you can buy whatever it is that you want. So you
Gotcha.
most definitely can do that. And I'll tell you, you've already created a 508 and all that fun stuff, but there are plenty, there are plenty of other nonprofits that are already housing the veterans and stopping domestic violence and all these other wonderful things that they're doing. And it might be easier for you to simply partner with some of them because they got 10,000 followers and this one's got 5,000 followers and this one's got 300 followers. But if we just tell the people, you know, this isn't like a bake sale where there's $178 at the end of the day on Saturday and everybody's fighting over their $25. This is a huge, huge amount of money that comes in that you can share with other nonprofits and you guys can partner and all that. See, my thing is all about partnership and collaboration and working together. And nonprofits are just as competitive as realtors, as financial advisors, as banks, etc. And for the first time, we're actually giving them all a way to come together. Come together right now. Okay, but yes, all good stuff. Trey, is it Trey? Is that what you go by?
Coach Trey.
Coach Trey. Coach Trey, come tomorrow. We have a charitable real estate masterclass. It's 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I know that's a chunk of time, but we're going to delve even deeper into this. And what happens is people will say, well, Kimmy, I can only show up for 30 minutes. And I say, that's okay. Come for as much as you can. And then they either end up rearranging their schedule and staying, or they come the next time for the whole thing. Because Jim Wooten is on this screen right now. He wrote the book, Charitable Real Estate Gift is the actual name of his book. He kept it really simple, Real Estate Gift. And he's been doing it the hard way for 25 years, 2006. And he is coming to our masterclass. He is a charitable real estate champion. He and I are bringing our books together to teach everyone all the ways that we can fund the church. And the churches, man, 28% of all money that's donated to nonprofits goes to churches. So we're right there with you, brother. We want to help. And I also want to be respectful of our host. It's 7:23. We should have been out of here half hour ago. So please, Alan's going to make sure you guys have all the right links for everything that you need. Come to the masterclass, get our cell phone numbers, join the Facebook group, go to all those links, do your due diligence. But the last thing I want to say is don't think this to death. It's happening all around you. Other nonprofits are already doing it. Your donors are on their donor list. They are donating real estate. You don't want to call them in 6 months and find out, oh yeah, we had an $8.3 million strip mall in Vegas. We already donated it. Jim just unmuted himself. Jim, please feel free to say what you want to say because we all benefit from your wisdom.
Well, thank you, Cammie. This has really been great. And it's really true. They are out there, and the idea of partnering one small nonprofit with a large nonprofit that doesn't have the tools that you're providing here could be a great solution. That they've got, the other nonprofits got 3,000 or 5,000 donors, and you've got 120 donors. You need to collaborate and do the deal, and both of you come away with a big check when the real estate is sold. So I think that's one of the main things that could come out of this tonight. And it's been a great meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. And if you want to put in the chat your Rock landing page, it has your book for free. All they have to do is opt in. Please feel free to put that in. Here, I'll even put it in for you because I know you're a little technology challenged. TheRock.com. Jim. Okay. I really want to respect our guests, so we're going to sign off now. Thank you so much for coming, and the recording will be in the private group tomorrow or whenever. So, bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Cameron.
Here's our business card. Well, it is a bookmark.
Okay, well, tomorrow's meeting,
Right
recorded, because like I said in the chat, I have that procedure tomorrow, and it actually starts at 10. Okay. Yeah, I will text you later on tomorrow afternoon, after the procedure is over and I'm back home. Okay. Thank you, brother. Yes, sir. Peace.
Thank you.